third time, I guess, is the charm for this video, because this is officially now the third time that I have filmed this. So if it accidentally gets deleted, if it turns out like shit, that is just too bad. I'm uploading it anyways. So I wanted to do a recommendation video, something that I have never done before, but I wanted to do one on my favorite trope, which is student teacher, or I should say one of my favorite, but pretty much by far, if you tell me that a book is a student teacher trope, sign me up, I want to read it. If it's not your thing, I get it. Feel free to like skip this video then, because clearly nothing that I talk about today is going to be of interest for you. But if it's not your thing, don't read it. If you do like it, here are some of my favorites. I do have a huge list, so I did condense it just down to 5. If you guys want more of these, I will do more in the future. I'm happy to do so, but for now, I just figured let's keep it to 5. Let's try to keep this video a little more short and sweet. Let's kick it off with a bit of a doozy. The Unrequited by Saffron Kent. So this one follows Layla and Thomas. This is set in a college setting, so if you prefer that over a high school setting, this is one to check out. So Layla, I think it's pretty safe to say that homegirl is a stalker. Like a stalker. And her parents kind of like sent her away. They were like, yeah, go off to college, like kind of get away from us. They kind of wanted her out of her hair because I believe she stalked, I think it was her stepbrother, and she was like obsessed with him. But then she gets on campus and and she's angsty, she's kind of dark, she's a little nuts, but it makes it so fun to follow. And one night she sees this guy in the park. Okay, I can't remember the sequence of events if she sees Thomas first in class and then she joins his class. She walks in and she's like, yeah, I don't have this class, but this guy's hot, so she's gonna join. And Thomas is like, I see through that, but she joins anyways. And then she either sees him at the park one night and immediately is like, yes, I want you, or if she's in class first, one of those two. But long story short, Layla is like zeroed in on Thomas now. And Thomas is just your classic asshole. He's brooding, he's dark, he's tortured, he's a writer, the whole 9 yards, and such an asshole. I love that, so I loved this. So Layla does end up pursuing Thomas, much to Thomas's like, back off please. She doesn't really do that. And also, trigger warning for cheating in this book, if that does bother you, there is this in this story. Me personally, I'm not super bothered by it. I don't love it in a book, but also it's not a deal breaker for me either. And in this, I felt like it was handled pretty well, so I didn't like hate it, but this is just edgy, angsty, so fun, because Layla is a bit of an unreliable narrator, but you just can't help but find her endearing to follow. And as I said, Thomas is just A+ for me, so definitely check this out. My next one is also a college one, and that one is going to be First Semester by QB Tyler. This is the first book in a series. I haven't read the other books, but I did really enjoy this one. It follows Skylar and Aiden. Skylar had recently gone through a breakup, so when she just gets onto campus, her roommate or her neighbor ends up setting her up on this dating app that is for in the area, and she bumps up her age a little bit to try to like help Skylar out. And on this dating app, she matches with Aiden, and they meet up at a bar one night, and they have a great night together. Then of course she gets on campus, and guess who is her criminal justice professor? Aiden. And I really love this one. It has everything about a student teacher trope that I absolutely love. It's like we want to be together but we can't. The faculty is rude as hell in this book to Aiden. They're basically just like, because you're hot, you need to watch out. And Aiden's like, thank you, but also like, he is dating Skylar. But they have the fun office hour times, like just everything about this was just a fun time. It's very lighthearted. It's a super quick read, and I really liked both Aiden and Skylar. Okay, and then my last one set in college is going to be Voyeur by Fiona. Now this one is completely different from the other two. So Voyeur follows Oakland and Callum. So Oakland is a college student, and her parents somehow spend all of her money that she was supposed to have for college, and she doesn't want to drop out. She can't really get loans for some reason, so she's kind of out of ways to make money. Her roommate's uncle owns this club called Voyeur and is like, hey, I could get you a job there. And it's a live sex club. It's wild, but it makes for a great setting. It's not like as outlandish as you think. Like, it's a very classic, it's like very up, high-end, bougie shit. It's not like sketchy. just trust me. You have no reason to trust me, but just trust me on it. Oakland gets a job there, and at first she just starts serving, like she's a bartender, or I think she's a waitress, but then after a while she works her way up to being a performer, and that is where Callum sees her, but she does not know who Callum is, but Callum knows who she is. So then skip ahead to class a bit. Callum's teaching, and he notices that Oakland is in his class. Oakland also gets a job as being his like teacher's aide and like helps him out in his office, like filing stuff, just helping in the department. So then they end up being around each other a lot that way as well. And eventually Oakland discovers who Callum is, and Callum knows obviously who she is. And it's a great book. This one is a lot heavier, which I actually like. It does have the fun aspect of the student-teacher relationship, but it also does deal with some very heavy topics. Callum has some previous abuse in his past that he has to work through, and Oakland kind of helps him work through that. And it's a really beautiful dynamic to see. I love Fiona Cole's writing, and this is the first book in a series. I've read through book 3, so I need to read the last 3, and so far I've enjoyed all of those as well, but this one is by far my favorite that I've read so far. Okay, now for like, I think my all-time favorite student-teacher book. If this ever gets topped, I will be shocked. So these next 2 are going to be high school ones, so if that does bother you. However, both of the characters in this one, I know for sure one of them is not underage during the relationship. She is 18, and I believe the other one is 18 as well. But the next one that I'm going to talk about is literally one of my favorite books of all time, and that is Sweet Dandelion by Mikalia Smeltzer. I think that's how you say her name. I feel bad because I also have a really hard to pronounce name, and my name looks almost exactly like that, but I think that's how you say it. I already have talked about this in like my 2020 wrap-ups, and this ended up being one of my top books of last year, and it is so beautiful. It's a thick boy. It is a thick book. But first off, I just want to preface this by saying that this is a very character-driven story over plot-driven, which I love. If you are not as much invested in characters and are here for like OMG plots and like a lot of twists and turns, this is not going to be your thing. But if you just want to go on a journey with characters, I promise you're gonna love this. So this one follows Danny and Lachlan. Danny just moved to Seattle. She is a senior in high school, but she is 18. She's like a year older than everyone in her grade, because at her last school, there was a school shooting where she was shot and injured, and her mom, who was a staff member, was shot and killed. So she has to move in with her older brother, and he now becomes her guardian. And at this new school, for every day for 1 hour, instead of going to a class, she goes and talks to a guidance counselor. Lachlan. I can't even explain how much I love this book. It is just so beautiful. Danny starts out in like the darkest place, and by the end of this book, you can't help but root for her, and you can't help but root for Lachlan. And leaps and bounds, every other book that I've talked about, these are the 2 characters that you're just like, I need these 2 to be together. Like, they deserve each other, and they deserve to be happy. Their connection just goes way past physical attraction and is just like a deep soul emotional connection. It is slow burn, which I appreciate, especially in this situation. It definitely needed to be slow burn. It could not have been insta love for it to work out, I don't think. And I mean, hence the big book. It's like almost 500 pages. Oh, it's almost 600 pages, but worth every page. Okay, and last book that I'm at least going to recommend today is going to be Misbehaved by Charlie Rose. This is another high school one. However, I do want to say that Remy is 18. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure she is. And so this one follows Remy and Pierce, and Remy is basically just like neglected by her father. He was on the road a lot. I think he's like a semi-truck driver or something, and he's on the road a lot, and he leaves her with her older stepbrother. I don't even know what his name is. All you really need to know is this dude is absolute trash. He either is harassing Remy or like completely ignoring her. And he has friends over, they're doing drugs, they're partying. She's literally just trying to go to high school and like get her education, and he just pretty much does everything in his power to make her uncomfortable, and he's just trash. And she gets the chance to go to this nicer school somewhere like on the other side of town, and that's where she meets Pierce, and Pierce is one of her teachers. And Pierce recognizes, I think, a lot of himself in her. Like, even though he is like this clean-cut teacher, he has a dark past, and actually him and Remy are a lot more alike than you might think on the surface. And once again, similar to Thomas, Pierce is just like aloof and cold and brooding, and just, again, everything that I love. Pierce initially just wants to like help Remy out. He like sees her potential, but knows that she doesn't have the tools to be able to reach that potential with, one, where she's living, and two, her support system. And I mean, obviously they meet in class, they start a connection, and I mean, you know how it goes. But this one has a twist that I didn't see coming. There is some like intertangling of these two that you uncover as you go along in the story. This does definitely have more plot to it than, let's say, like Sweet Dandelion, where Sweet Dandelion is much more just these two characters healing. This one has more of that plot woven into it, so if you like that more, I definitely suggest this one. Okay, if this video didn't turn out, or if I accidentally delete it again, I'm going to scream. That is it for at least this recommendation video. I am totally open to doing more of these in the future if literally anyone wants to watch them or likes them at all. I don't know, you all might be like, shut up. Respectable. So anyways, there were those 5 student teacher books. I literally have, I don't even know how many student teacher books that I've read, so if anyone wants more, as I said, I'm happy to do so. But otherwise, I don't ever know how to end these, so see ya.